Sheriff Susan Hutson says changes are being made inside the Orleans Justice Center despite not receiving additional funding from City Council to support that change. Good evening, I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Hudson is talking about a tier of the jail that features new designs that are meant to heighten security. WWL Louisiana is the first local station inside this newly retrofitted tier.
I sat down with Sheriff Hutson and OJC to not only talk about those changes, but issues with City Council, jail funding, and why she believes the historic jailbreak was politically motivated.
This is a part of the jail I don't think many people have seen. What is going on in this tier?
This is one of our special management pods, or will be one of our special management pods. We planned and worked with local Sheriff Jerry Turlich and Plaquemines to move the 60 folks out of here to Plaquemines so that we can retrofit this jail with locks that work and are very difficult to defeat. And we now have a continuous hit from the top of the door to the bottom of the door that they can't defeat or warp to keep the doors from shutting. I'd signaled this for a long time that we needed to fix what's broken in the jail.
That can mean life or death.
You could, literally could. And then it's about outfitting this into a more modern jail. We talked about the doors that didn't lock. So we, without getting more funding for that, we've just done it ourselves.
How many pods have been done to be retrofitted this way?
2.
Immediately after the public was known about the escape of the 10 inmates from the Orleans Justice Center, you went on to say 2 things that caught my attention, that there was a lot more to it, and I assumed when you said a lot more to it was assistance was given, help was given, and we've seen the arrest since then of some employees. We've also seen the arrest of some family members and friends, relatives of some of the escapees, but I'm wondering about where you say the political motivation came from. What do we know, or what don't we know, regarding the evidence that suggests it was politically motivated?
We got to go back into what made this perfect storm and made this thing happen. When I got into office, staffing levels, 45%. And deputies were not being paid appropriately, way below the national average. A jail population under 1,000 that quickly went up to 1,600. That's way too much. It's almost 2 times the number that we need in here for the number of deputies that we have. So we're at this deficit already in terms of funding, in terms of deputies, in terms of secure facilities, and along comes May 16, which was after the millage. The millage had to pass because we needed that funding, and there's never been an escape from this facility. There is no way to get out of this facility without help. But that happens after that millage is taken care of, and as we are moving into political season, I find that timing to be very curious. So you can see they all have little screws in them.
I remember you guys doing a walkthrough of the jail. You showed him some of the issues that you had with the locks, and you talked about this maybe 2 years ago. So that's understandably there, but he spoke with your predecessor and he disagreed and said that he did not believe that there was anything structurally incorrect built with the jail. What do you have to say to that?
That's absolutely not true. I wrote my first letter about the deficiencies in this jail in July of 2022, just 2 months after I got into office. Nothing has changed. We've had to go it alone with funding and making the changes ourselves. If you know anything about how jails work in this state and all around the country, there's a sheriff who runs it, but there's another entity that pays for it. That causes a lot of friction there. As your sheriff, I take full accountability for this failure.
Well, how is it that you've spoken about the deficiencies with the jail. You're still kind of in a little bit of a lock with City Council, where the additional funding is not being issued at this current time. How is it that you say that this is politically motivated? You guys can put politics aside so that we don't see another jailbreak, that we see the improvements that we need in the jail, and that people can be held accountable so that we can make sure that this jail functions the way as it should.
Yeah, given the aggressiveness I'm encountering, I have to be more aggressive. What I've tried to do is just reason with people. I came in, I told you 2 months after I got into office, I just wrote a nice little letter saying, hey, look, here's what's wrong and we need help. I come to City Council in good faith every budget cycle and say, here's what we need. I come in good faith every year. That has not helped. So now it's time to get more aggressive and make sure that I use every means, legal and otherwise, and political available to make sure this happens. By the way, the community may or may not know this. I meet with the City Council, the CAO's office. Our office meets with them at least once a quarter as a part of the consent judgment, show them our payroll, show them our expenses, and so they know what we're dealing with.
So why is there such a push for you to give line by line items? For what they're saying that you're not giving them a full breakdown of where the money is going. Why is there such a push?
I think we got to ask them that question. We're showing what we're doing. Now, the city also has access, password and username to our financial system where they can go in and look at anything they want to look at. Now, if you want to know what type of rice we buy, is that what the type of detail they're looking for? That's a little too much.
Now, for timing, we had to drastically cut down this interview, but if you go to our streaming platform, WWL Plus, you can watch it in its entirety. This includes conversations about the mistaken release of Khalil Bryan, rumors that she had been removed from the jail, and why federal monitors say there was backsliding of the consent decree.